So you're from Redondo Beach, correct?
Yes.
Originally.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Van Nuys, but I moved to Redondo when I was like, I think I was like 2 or 3.
So you're not from there? No way. Not technically.
Technically, no. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of stuff were you doing over there as a kid in your free time?
I was outside a lot. I loved like the beach, and I would surf and skate and um, eat Panda Express and play a little bit of soccer, did a little soccer action.
Busy, busy.
I was busy. I had a lot of energy as a kid, so I was always on the go.
Good. No, that's good though. You gotta get that out. You gotta express it somehow.
Yeah, I gotta get your wiggles out.
Yeah, exert yourself, right?
Yeah.
So were you shown like the surfing and skating aspect, or did you kind of just fall into it on your own?
It's kind of what everybody did, and it was so fun, like it was definitely like optional, but it was just such a fun option.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like do any of it religiously. It was just kind of like, on the weekend it's what you'd go do or something. But yeah, it was fun. It was just like, it was the vibe. It was such a cool little beach town,
Mm-hmm.
chiller zone.
Definitely.
It's still like that. It's so nice.
Do you have any siblings?
I have a half sister.
Mm-hmm. It was
We're
it,
not very close.
okay, okay. So she wasn't surfing with you. You guys weren't going out and hanging out.
No, no, yeah.
Mhm. All right, all right. So you were the only surfer. You were the surf skate rat kid.
Yeah.
Were you genuinely a good kid, or were you getting into a little bit of mischief?
I was pretty good. I was pretty good. I felt very like responsible. Like from a very young age, I had a sense of responsibility that was kind of like, I don't want to say forced upon me, but I felt responsible for myself. So I was always taking care of stuff. I would get into some mischief. I just hung out in the mall. I hung out at the mall a lot, but
Eating Panda
we
Express, yeah.
There's Safari, we got Panda. Sometimes you feel saucy, you get some Dippin' Dots. It's crazy out there. You never know.
What kind of what were your first couple of jobs that you had?
My first job ever on the books was at Jamba Juice. It was the one in Manhattan Beach, and it was right next to a gym. It was an interesting experience. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
yeah, it was eye opening. I learned what I didn't want in so many ways.
So you said on the books that was your first job. What about your very first job? Was it under the table kind of stuff?
Yeah, I remember my mom did massage when I was a kid, and she worked out at the salon, and I think that was the first time I ever got paid for my services, was like sweeping up hair at the salon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good money, right?
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
So and then you got the job at Jamba Juice. At what age?
I was 15 and a half. I remember because I lied so I could get the job. I said I was 16, but I just like, I was, I had my like learner's permit, I was about to get my license. Like, I was like, I got to make this money. Let's get going. Every time I got kind of a taste of freedom, I loved it, and like just wanted more. So as soon as I was almost old enough, I was like, okay, I got to get a job. I got to figure stuff out. Like, let's go.
Where'd you move to after Jamba Juice? What was the next move, job wise?
Ooh, what was after Jamba? Mm. Going back. What was after? I think it was this little boutique store. Maybe it was in this part of Redondo called Riviera Village, and it was like this tiny little store called, I think it's called Ribbons, and they just sold kind of like hip mom clothes, and I would like hang out in the back and like unpack boxes there.
It wasn't just ribbons.
No, it wasn't just ribbons. I don't think I ever saw a single ribbon in that place. This was attached to a camisole.
I mean, the name is a little bit it throws you off for a loop a bit.
It does, but if I can remember the sign right, it was like written in a ribbon. So they were into it. Like they were owning, the facade,
Yeah,
but the
really throwing you
substance,
for a loop.
yeah, they're throwing you for a looped ribbon.
Yeah, exactly. A nice knot.
A nice knot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you? I mean, you genuinely like the area though that you grew up in, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Have you ever been down there?
Yes, not particularly my neck of the woods. I'm Orange County inland kind of, but
Oh, okay.
I get where you're coming from. I understand.
Yeah, yeah, you get that vibe down there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Did your
Come palm
family?
tree.
Yeah, palm trees. Yeah, exactly. Did your family play a lot of music around you when you were growing up?
It wasn't like a focal point. My mom loved like Elton John and Barbara Streisand and Billy Joel and stuff like that, and that was always playing. But yeah, I was kind of a late bloomer with music. I remember like the first time I ever really loved music was like when Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys came out. I believe the fine year was 1996, and I was like 6 or 7 years old, and it just hit the spot so good. Um, but yeah, then after that, I had this long gap of like, I think I was just floating around, and then in high school, I started meeting some friends who like showed me the all the cool people to listen to, and that was really awesome. That was like one of those aha moments.
And Billy Joel's not cool enough? I don't understand. I mean,
I mean, he was like holding a place, but I don't think he like, was rooted there, At least for me.
most uptown girls say that, so that's up to you. No, he does have a lot of hits though. I mean, like I really didn't notice how many good songs he had until up until recently. I'm like, yeah, you know what? He's got a lot of good ones.
He's a hit maker. He's
He
doing it for
is
the kids. Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
two first names. That those are the kind of guys who need to make
Powerful.
music.
Elton John too, kind of similar. Yeah. There you
Bingo.
go.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that just solidifies it right there.
absolutely. I don't know anyone named Streisand. Wait, is there? I guess Streisand could be a first name. That's like very powerful.
That's a strong first or a
What
name.
would what
Yeah,
would
first name.
Streisand's last name be? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like somebody who would have the name would probably like kind of end it kind of like just really just basic, kind of like a Smith, maybe Streisand Smith. Actually, that kind of rolls off the tongue pretty well.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't think you could go wrong with the first name like that. That'd be a really interesting first
That's
name though.
great.
Yeah,
Imagine like a dog named Streisand.
that'd
That's
be good
that's a
too.
that'd be pretty good.
Boom. We're just coming up with ideas right now. This is just
I
this
mean,
is free flow.
there's gonna be so many Streisands coming up in the next gen, thanks to us. I think we're
Yeah,
gonna inspire millions here.
we
Yeah.
did it. We're the cornerstone of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
get royalties on it just because it's our idea. Or take it from Barbara, but she has enough money anyway, so whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
So you said around high school was when you were really getting introduced to newer, different music than what you were
Yeah,
previously
different.
exposed to.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, totally.
And what when did you start picking up an instrument?
I was 13 when I started taking guitar lessons. Classic, classic age, classic angst. Needed to go somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, surfing and skating can only go so far. You gotta get another outlet.
Right. Yeah, that's very physical. I needed an emotional outlet, I think.
Yeah, definitely getting those Jamba juices, getting all hopped up on those, and eating the Panda Express. It's got to go somewhere.
Absolutely. I got a lot of feelings about those things.
So how soon after you started playing guitar did you join your first band?
It wasn't until I was like 18 or something when I left home. I didn't ever play guitar with the intention of being in bands and stuff. It was just like fun. Um, but yeah, when I left home, I thought about it and I was like, oh, I could do that if I wanted to. So I tried it and I really liked it.
Where did you move to?
I just moved to LA. I was living in Hollywood, like the heart of Hollywood.
How much was rent?
I shared a studio with someone I didn't know, and I believe I was paying $700.
How did you meet this person? Just on the street?
I think it was on Craigslist.
Craigslist. Classic.
Classic.
Classic. You find your soulmates, you find your roommates, any kind of mates you want, just regular
I
mates.
found my first band.
Really?
My first band was on Craigslist, yeah.
Now, did you put out the ad or did you respond to the ad?
I responded to the ad.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not throwing it out there, but you'll join in.
Oh yeah, I have learned about myself. Life really shows up for me when I get invited to show up for it. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people it's that way, but we're all told the same way of doing things. But for some people, it's totally different. And I learned that about myself relatively recently, actually. But when I look back, all the best moments came from like, come on in. You know, someone being like, come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're living with the random roommate in the studio, and then right around that time, is that when you started joining the first band?
Yeah, I think so. That might have been a little before, actually. I might have moved somewhere else. I moved a lot when I first came to LA, you know, just like trying to figure it out. And you have like roommate situations and you're just like bouncing around. But it was somewhere in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at a weed store at the time. And it was like when medical marijuana was like first coming around, and it was still like pretty sketch. The sketch factor was high. It was higher than most. And it was such a fun job though. I loved it so much. I remember having a lot of fun back then.
What year is this right around?
This was like 2009, 2010, around then.
So right at the beginning of it, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what were you? How were you spending your free time? Were you spending a lot of time with the Craigslist roommate, or just kind of not spending a lot of time at home, just kind of wandering around doing your own thing?
I remember I had this crew of people that I was hanging out with. It was this group of amazing, it was kind of like a really beautiful queer community. And because I had initially wanted to go to FITM, there's this like fashion school in LA.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then I found out how much it cost, and I decided to do something else. Um, but I ended up
Smart
meeting
choice. Smart choice.
yeah, yeah. But I ended up meeting some kids kind of through just like looking into that kind of stuff, and we just like got to know LA together. We would just run around and get like, you know, kind of just like stony every day, and like just drive around and figure stuff out. I just remember the whole time just feels like floating. I was just kind of like exploring all over the place.
But that's the time to do that, though, right?
Oh yeah, it was very appropriate. It was very appropriate.
Yeah. Were you much of a drinker when you were younger, like in your adolescence?
Drinking, not so much. Drinking was definitely the first thing that I did that was like bad. You know, I was like at a party and somebody had some like vodka, and so I had some. But I always pretty early on I realized like, oh, when you drink too much, you feel awful, and like that payoff. I think it affects everyone differently, but for me, like I just feel absolutely awful if I like go one toke too far with drinking. So I just like kind of learned to enjoy it in moderation, and stuck with that. Like I love being like I hate being hungover more than I love being drunk. So I just like learned that really quick, and I kept it pretty chill. But I remember when Sparks was around having a little too much fun with Sparks. Do you remember that drink?
No. What is it? I'm not familiar with it.
It's kind of akin to like Four Loco, I think. It's like it was just a really sweet alcoholic beverage that had shit tons of caffeine in it. And so I remember we would go to these like amazing gay clubs. There was one called Tiger Heat that was really good. Or you'd go to like a Spaceland and like just fucking dance your ass off and drink Sparks and wear too much makeup. And I had so many fake IDs. I remember one of my friends worked at Tiger Heat, the club, and he would let me go through like all of the fake IDs that had been left at the club. And so I would just like find these ones. And then one time I actually went to, you're getting me to tell some secrets, but one time I went to,
I love it. This is the stuff I'm looking for. This is it.
When I was feeling extra ambitious, I went to what's that street where you get a fake ID in downtown? It's right next to that park. It's like MacArthur.
Yeah, MacArthur Park. Yes.
Yeah.
I know where you're talking about, but MacArthur.
Yeah.
You went to MacArthur Park, yes, to get this.
I went to MacArthur Park area. I literally didn't even have to leave my car back then. I was like driving around, and someone was like, ID, like, you want an ID? And I'm like, yes, that's literally what I'm here for. Yes. So I ended up getting a fake ID, and I chose my name to be Tina Fey. And I and I said I was from New York, and the first place I took it to just like immediately ripped it in half and sent me on my way. I think I spent like $90 on it though, which at the time was like a lot. I was like, oh my God, I'm really going for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
it was a fun experience. Expensive.
Yeah, they've I got my fake ID. I had two of them. Well, it came in two, and then I got another two because the first two got taken, it's fine. But yeah, it was expensive. I had to go in with other people. It was like a greater discount with like 6 people. So
oh my God, I remember that. Yeah,
me and 6 of the people got ours, and then it eventually got taken. Thanks, Observatory, Orange County. Thank you.
oh my gosh, let the kid in. Come on now. Ugh.
Yeah, just
People,
love them. But it's fine. I'm of age now, so good luck. Yeah, but yeah, but it's a staple of youth to get a fake ID. You know, you gotta get them.
I had a blast. I just remember having way too much fun back then. Oh, I remember the first drink I ever ordered at a bar was an Adios motherfucker. I was like, oh my God, that's the one I'm gonna order. It's like this ridiculous blue beverage with like every alcohol in it. And like every time I ordered it, I'm sure the bartender was just like, this bitch. Like
oh man. Yeah. That's great, and it was great, right? It tasted so good, right? The
yeah,
mixing.
it was delicious.
Yeah,
it made me feel like a superhero. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when was the first time you smoked weed? When was that?
Ooh, that was a little later in life too. I was like maybe 16, and my friend Jackie Gallegos, such a badass. She was the coolest. She was Russian, and her family was like Russian.
I love how you do first and last name. What's up, Jackie? Thank you.
Jackie Gallegos.
Jackie.
But, Jackie. Her dad was like a photographer. He was this really cool photographer. He would take photos of celebrities, and I remember he had like all these amazing photos of celebrities from the 90s mostly. Like that was his heyday. And it was just so beautiful, like all the brown lipstick and just like thin eyebrows, like all of I love that vibe. Celebrities looked so cool back then. But he had a dark room in their house, and he kept his weed in the dark room. He totally smoked weed. And so one night we like went down and took a little bit and smoked. And I remember not really feeling anything until we like went downstairs and like went in the kitchen and turned on the light. And then I remember eating a bagel really passionately. And then I just like, I didn't really get hooked then. Like I wasn't like smoking all the time after that. But a couple years later, I think when I was like 17, 18 was when I like had my own weed for the first time and was like smoking pretty regularly. But weed really agrees with me. Like I am really, really grateful for what it was able to do to just like my motto for weed is it helps. You know, it's like it helps. And like it's not for everyone, but I love that it's becoming more available to people because I think it is kind of a solution for so many people whether it's, you know, anxiety or just like general unease or unhappiness or whatever. Like it's a nice reminder of like how beautiful the world is, and it grows out of the ground. It's like such a gift, you know.
That's right.
I love weed so much. I love it. I love it.
Very nice. Very nice. So you got high the first time though that you smoked weed.
Yeah, not like super noticeable the first time. First, like it was definitely the classic thing of like I don't think it worked, you know. but but yeah, it was. I remember having fun. I remember having a lot of fun that night.
That's good. That's what
Yeah,
it's all about. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you're in Hollywood. Craigslist is doing you a lot of big favors. What was the first show you played? When was that?
The first show, I want to say it was in 2010, and it was at the Airliner in Lincoln Heights, and it was downstairs. I haven't been to that club in forever, but it was downstairs, and it was like this really weird corner slot of a stage, and I just remember I didn't move a muscle. I was just standing there staring at my guitar the whole time. I just didn't want to mess up, and I think there was like maybe 4 or 5 people there.
They came out. They came out for you.
It came out. I mean, it was definitely like jam packed. Yeah, for the size, it was a very small size.
Fire marshal came in and said, "Hey guys, you guys, this is too dangerous. Okay, I mean, we got bodies everywhere. This is a problem. We got to shut it down." Right? It was getting to
Yeah,
that
we gotta
point.
get this out. This is it's safety issue. Come on.
But did you feel real nervous? What was your feeling towards it? You're just like, I mean, I'm just gonna make sure I don't screw up and just keep on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was definitely nervous. I remember being nervous.
Hmm.
But it was fun. I remember having fun. And I remember with each show that came after that, it became a little bit easy. Like it was easier to be comfortable. It's also just a weird place, the stage. You know, it's like, it's just a strange, like I've always had trouble even with like public speaking in school or something. I would get like just so weirdly nervous, you know?
Hmm.
But yeah,
And look at
it's
you
a
now.
cool,
You're on a podcast. Look at you. I mean, great
I
strides.
know. Well, I mean, we're on the air.
This is it. This is yeah. This is live. This is live.
This is
Yeah.
it. This is the life we're living, my
Yeah.
dude.
What was the name of this first band that you were in? What was the name of it?
It was called Facts on File.
Pretty hip
There's a
name.
I think there's a KXLU session you can watch online somewhere. But they were great. I had so much fun in that band. It was just a 3-piece.
Mhm.
It was fun. Yeah, I played guitar.
No vocals.
Uh, I think a little bit of vocals towards the end. Oh, and a little bit of keys. Played a little bit of keys.
What else did you do? You do drums too? I think so. I think that all this stuff is just
I did
coming
the
back to
drums.
you
I did
now.
the lights. I did the sound. I did the hair.
I was in the audience. I did it all.
I was in the audience.
I was serving drinks. I was bouncer.
I booked the show.
It was my venue. I did everything. I had all the hats on.
Events, I invented them.
Yeah. So when did you start writing your own songs? When did you start penning some stuff down? You're like, you know what, I could work that into a song. When did that happen?
When I first got my laptop, I think I was like 14 or 15, and I got one of those giant fucking Mac, the white, just like, you know what I'm talking about. And it had GarageBand on it, and so that was the first time I was like, the computer mics were pretty good, and I remember just doing stuff like using a pack of bobby pins as like a shaker, and just like trying weird stuff like that. I had so much fun doing that, and I remember like the first time like showing friends the songs and stuff, and it was just like, you know, I was like so nervous and like weird about it. But I remember I had a music MySpace. I called myself Lady Lay.
Whoa, pretty good. Bob Dylan got on you for that. Lay, lady, lay, lady, lay. I mean,
The lawyers showed up immediately. It was crazy.
yeah. We'll see you in court. Cease and assist happening your way. Yeah. You've been
You think
served.
I'm all love? You ain't seen nothing yet. That was Bob Dylan talking to me.
Yeah. Yes. No. Everybody got it. I'm totally on board.
Okay.
So you started writing your own songs, and then you went into the band.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the progression after that musically? Did it just kind of fade out, that band?
Yeah, we didn't play a ton of shows, and I started feeling a little more ambitious, and so I was like, I'm gonna go look for something else that's a little more active. And I found Raw Geronimo, which was Lena Geronimo's band at the time. And someone I was working with knew her, and she was looking for someone, so she referred me to Lena, and we hooked up and played music together for 8 years. We were Raw Geronimo, and then had a series of kind of changes, so we became Feels, and I left Feels beginning of 2019 or beginning of 2020. So now I'm just doing my solo stuff, but I put my first solo record out almost 5 years ago. So I started that in like 2016, 2017, and it like really opened up a lot of like knowledge about myself and just opportunities that I hadn't had before, and it was happening so naturally. And so I've learned to follow whatever's coming easily to you, like, and looking at your gifts and like prioritizing what is like giving you the most return, because if you give it even more, it'll give you even more in return, so it just became a like priorities thing. And so now here I am just doing my own thing.
And look at you.
Look at me now.
Look at you. Yeah. So going back, you said that you got referred to by into Raw Geronimo from a colleague at work. Was this at the weed dispensary place, or was this another?
Yeah, no, this was at a store called Squaresville, where it's in Los Feliz. It's a wonderful vintage store.
Was there any squares in there, or was it like a ribbon thing? Just ribbons part 2, no squares.
Out. If Square walked in, we'd get them the hell out.
Get out of here.
No, I'm just kidding. All are welcome. But I worked there from age 19 to 27. I like grew up in that store. And
so not that much time, just a quick snippet.
Like a flash in the pan, really.
Yeah, just in and out real quick.
Yeah, they didn't even learn my name.
No. They're like, Tina Fey, is that your real? And like, yep, that is
Tina Fey, I presume.
You wrote for SNL. Okay, yeah. I think I seen you at 30 Rock. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh my God, I rewatched that show recently. What a good program. That's a good one.
It's amazing. The writing on that is amazing. The cast is great. I mean, yeah.
And it's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. And Tracy Morgan looks so young in the beginning episodes. I mean, he looks so young, and it's just insane. And he's so funny. He really is.
Yeah.
And Alec Baldwin was good too. Yeah.
Oh, he was brilliant. Yeah, he was really good.
Definitely. Yeah. What other shows do you like?
Right now, I'm rewatching Charmed. I absolutely love that show, and honestly, the fashion is so inspiring. Shannon Doherty's nipples, I never noticed this before, but they are just like on display. Like they are like, I'm pretty sure they're in the credits as like her nipple. Like they're so beautiful, and oh my God. You know what I watched the other day that a really tiny baby Shannon Doherty was in was this movie called Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Young Helen Hunt, young Sarah Parker. You got to give it a watch. It put a smile on my face. I fell asleep smiling thinking about that movie. I did a double feature with Wish Upon a Star, which is another fantastic film. Young Katherine Heigl. Back to back. Yeah.
B2B. Yeah.
B2B. What are you watching these days? You got anything good?
Yeah. I guess not recently now, but I was watching I finally got into Twin Peaks. I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get into it, and it was amazing. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't watched it, who's listening. It's great. Have you watched it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a iconic. It's the best.
it's a mind bender. I really liked it a lot. I watched the first two seasons, then the movie, then The Return, which came out whatever a couple years ago on Showtime.
Right.
Got Showtime for that reason. Yeah, it was amazing. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it and is kind of on the fence about it. It's definitely worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, it's fabulous. Fabulous
Mhm.
program. I love David Lynch's morning show, his like morning weather report. You ever watch that?
I've heard snippets of it. Is it on regular radio?
I don't know anymore. I always watch it on YouTube.
That's where I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Blue Velvet when I was younger. I didn't understand it, which was, and then I rewatched. I was like, this is great. This is good. Haven't seen
Right.
Mulholland Drive,
Mm.
but I'll get around to it. There's some other. I've been trying to watch really classic movies lately. I watched 12 Angry Men, just the other day,
Yeah.
which was really good. I really liked it a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I've been watching.
Nice. It's fun to do like your movie homework almost.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there really is so much good stuff from like the dawn of the film era. And yeah, I have to do my more homework on that too. Because every time I do, I'm like so much more appreciative of it as an art form, you know? Nowadays
Definitely.
you can just get caught up in all the X-Men and all the remakes. And it's like, dude, I can't get over the budget for movies. Like the
It's
budget that
insane.
these
It's
people have.
crazy. It's insane.
I I saw the other day, this was one that came out that I completely forgot about, but it was like the live action Tom and Jerry movie. I was like, what was the budget for this movie? I'm gonna guess 8 million. The budget for that movie was $79 million.
I was gonna say 16,
Like,
and that
you could buy everyone in America Arby's. Like you fuck. Like what the
I like how you said Arby's. Nothing else. No. Not Carl's Jr. Not McDonald's. No,
no.
Arby's.
Well, because it would be just as useful as that fucking movie. A bag of Arby's in front of me. Garbage. Garbage food, garbage movie. So, yeah.
Uh, do you have regular television now, or are you just strictly streaming?
I'm strictly streaming. Hashtag strictly streaming.
Got the
I'm
cord.
hooked on I got a Roku recently and I just love it.
Mm. Prior to that, were you TV?
No, you know, I don't think I've ever had cable as an adult
Mm-hmm.
on my own, living on my own. My stepdad, he's got like channels for days. I love going over to his house. He's got like the biggest TV. He's got everything recorded. His couch has like cup holders in it and like a little fridge. You know, he's like very into that. But yeah, I always just did streaming. We're so lucky. I love that feature. And I have like a projector setup, which is fun. So I make a thing of it, you know.
You pull it down, or is it like a remote
It's
down
just a
thing?
wall. It's got a white
Oh, it's
wall.
just boom. Okay,
Yeah.
right on
Yeah.
there. Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice. Very impressive.
Do you have cable?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm sitting in front of a cable box right now at this desk right here. It's the cable box and then the TV's right here. Yeah, I'm with
Amazing.
Spectrum. Yeah,
Love that. Love that.
love the commercials.
I I enjoy their internet. I have their internet.
I I this is a Dish sponsored podcast, so Dish
She's got the bundle package. She's got the bundle.
the Hopper. I had the Hopper. Yeah.
The hopper. Okay, right on it.
Also Cricket Wireless. Got a lot of plates on the stove.
Yes.
But moving back to Raw Geronimo, so you joining it, and it is Raw Geronimo. When did it switch to Feels? When was that turning point?
I believe we remained Raw Geronimo for like 3 or 4 years, and it changed. I guess in like 2014 2014 or 15, maybe 2015. That sounds about right. Yeah.
What prompted the name change? Did you feel like you were going in a different direction through sound, or was it just time to switch it? What was the from your understanding of it, what was the turning point, or why was the turning
Yeah,
point rather?
yeah, we were becoming just a different uh thing altogether. So it just seemed like let's just wipe the slate clean,
And you
start
joined,
fresh.
yeah, fresh.
Yeah.
Two H's. That's how fresh it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frosh, maybe with an A, frosh.
So you joined what, 2013, 2014 or 2012?
Yeah, yeah, 2000, yeah, maybe 2012. That
Mm-hmm.
sounds right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And was it like a group decision to change the name, or was it like we'll
Yeah.
just okay?
Yeah, the Rod Geronimo had it was a six-piece band, so it was a whole rigmarole. And we just kept having people come in and out, and we ended up with four, and then we ended up with three, and then we wanted to go back to four, and that's when we just decided to become a different thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see. So talk to me about the first time you went on tour. What was that like for you?
The first real tour I consider going on was my first time going to South by Southwest in Texas. And we drove out there. It was with Rod Geronimo, and we were in a 14-passenger van with 14 people and a trailer. And I think there was like another one behind us, same deal. Like we were kind of in this caravan situation with a bunch of other bands. We drove straight out there, 30 hours, drove to Austin from LA. Um, and yeah, it was we hadn't like planned places to stay. And I remember like we had finally gotten there, and as we were getting out of the van, like somebody elbowed me in the face, and like I just like lost it. I was so young, and just I've always had like a weird thing about leaving home, and so it was really traumatic at first going on tour. It's just like there's nowhere to hide, and there's not a lot of like comfort, and everyone else is feeling the same way, so it's really hard to like ask for comfort. But it's cool. I loved like the things that touring has taught me about myself. And I remember that first one, I wasn't present. Like if I had to give anyone advice about like how do you enjoy touring, it's like you have to be present. Otherwise, like if you're, just wishing you were at home or wishing you were with somebody or whatever it is, you're not gonna have any fun. And you're like, what it comes down to is I've never been to Austin, Texas. Like I should have just like completely enjoyed myself. And without a doubt I did, but it was just so much harder than it needed to be because I was just like really torturing myself. But it was fun. It was intense. I mean, we literally like wandered around most nights because we didn't have places to stay. And like it just like it wears you down real quick, even when you're a young sprite, it's rough.
With 14 people too. I mean, that's a lot of people to
Yeah, well,
be housing.
everyone was in a different band, so like we would split off and like find each other, and like everyone in that band had a breakdown at some point in the tour. I remember finding one of them in like the middle of a street one day, and like his girlfriend had just broken up with him, and he's just like walking down the street like wailing. I was just like, dude, this is emotional. It's intense. It strips you bare.
Mm-hmm. Now, was it just Texas where you went to, or did you have other stops on this tour?
We spent like a good amount of time in Austin because South by, I think it's like a week long, but I think we played a show in maybe Arizona and like San Diego or something on the way back. Yeah, that was the first time I had ever been gone for like more than a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And then it taught yourself a lot about yourself, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Totally. I mean, it took me a couple more tries to figure out what I was doing wrong, but it really came down to the fact that I wasn't like in that moment. I was like caught up in like snags of like the past or the future, just like wanting to be somewhere else. But it's so powerful what like bringing your attention to what you're doing does to the actual moment. You know, it changes everything.
Mhm.
And I just need, and yeah, it took me a while to learn how to do that.
What were some moments, not specifically from that tour, but any tour that you've been on that really stick out to you, that like either good or bad, or actually, you know what, one good, one bad, if you could give me one of
Okay,
each.
okay. But my favorite time touring that I can remember off the top of my head is the first time I ever played in Europe solo. I did a European tour, and it was so cool because every show I was just amazed that people even came. Like it was so far from anywhere I'd ever been before, and like it was so amazing to see how far my music had like reached out, and for people to show up like, and there is really cool because a lot of the venues, they'll just have like subscriptions and you get tickets to everything, and like people come and they're really willing to listen, you know, if they don't know about you. And that was really cool. Like a lot of the shows I did were like seated, and just like one of them was in like this beautiful glass cube that was in the middle of this park in Germany. Like it was so amazing to see, just like get a taste of just like where music could take you. It was like a really nice reality check of like, oh, I'm like doing a cool thing. You know, it might be like a small thing right now, but it feels really good. That
I
that that
bet. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that whole tour like gives me warm feelings. And uh
Were you out there alone, or were you driving just yourself, just around?
no, I've been lucky. I've gotten to have like tour managers when I go over there,
That would
and
have been
they're all
badass though. Just you driving around, just playing your songs. That would have.
always tempted to do that. Always tempted.
That'd be
But
so cool. That'd be so awesome. Like, oh yeah, I'll go get a bite to eat over here, then I'll go over here. I'll chat. Have a drink over
right,
here. Yeah. Oh,
right.
yeah. That's a
But we
book.
do that too. Like when on that tour, it was just me and my friend Boss, who is a tour manager over there, and he tour managed Feels, and we just really hit it off, and so it's like traveling with a good friend, which is awesome. So that was really fun. But yeah, it is really confusing place at times, so it helps to have somebody at the helm. You know, he's from the Netherlands, so he like is he knows the ways. You know.
Yeah. Where'd you start off this tour? Did you go to France or England, or where'd you start this? Spain?
The first show was in Brussels.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very nice. Very nice. And then what was the route? How many different spots did you hit?
that was a long one. I think I was there for a month, and we went to like maybe like 5 or 6 countries. It was a lot. I know we did like the UK and France and Germany. I think there was a show in Spain on that trip. It's wild. It's cool to think about. It's made me want to travel more for pleasure, because when you're touring too, you don't have a whole lot of time to explore so much. So it's this very kind of unique way of experiencing those places. But it's cool. It's very cool. You get to like meet the people, you know, which I always like, because people are they're a little bit different everywhere. It's cool.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the worst tour you ever went on, or worst part of a tour?
Mm. That first one to South by is pretty high up there.
I was gonna make a joke
Um,
about that, but that was the real answer. You know what? It's good. It's good.
no, that one stands out. But I mean, I don't know. I can think of like situations where, like, a lot of times when you go on tour, you stay with people and they think that you want to party, and you don't want to party, and then you're like in an air mattress in a hallway while like people are just like partying in the other room, and you're trying to fall asleep, and you
That's such a
you
nice way to say that.
question your life choices and just like put in some earplugs. But that it's just it comes with the territory. It's an interesting world, because you can like really lose yourself in that if you want to. But for me, I had to stay physically well. Like I if I felt shitty on tour, it was just like impossible to like keep up with how much energy it requires. So I learned pretty quick to like I felt the first time I felt like an adult was when I started flossing on tour. I was like, oh shit. This, yeah.
You said, you know what? All that stuff's behind me. Might go back to John, but I don't know. Maybe a stable something, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just past all this like kid stuff, you know. No, I'm fine. I'll take a decaf
Yeah.
coffee, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Please and thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oat milk. Dairy kind of messes with me, you know?
When when did you figure that out? Was that early on in your youth that you figured out regular milk isn't for me, or were you just like
Oh, that
always
was just
almond
that
milk?
was a joke. That was a joke. But I actually I have been cutting down on dairy and it feels very good.
Okay, so
Um, I cut out wheat and that was really good for me too.
so you'll do regular milk, but not if they have oat milk, you're gonna do oat milk. Is that what you're telling me right now?
It's delicious. It's
Okay.
delicious. Yeah.
I don't like it. I've been having oat milk a lot lately. Not by my own. Somebody else will get it, and then I will try it. Try it. Not for me. I don't like it as much. I'll be honest.
To each their
Uh,
own, you know.
yeah. Altadena, great sponsor of the podcast. It's a great time to do the ad break right now. Altadena, Driftwood as well.
Oh my god.
Horizon chocolate milk, the stuff that you get at Starbucks, you know, with the cow jumping over the moon.
Oh
Also,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Delish.
great sponsors, right? I mean, like you like it too, right?
I do. I absolutely do.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank goodness. I would have had to edit you in later on saying that you'd like it because we
It's
cannot talk
great.
any shit on
It's
those. So, in your eyes, what is the main difference in um creating a song with others as opposed to you on your own? What is the main difference there? As opposed to individualism and being collaborative with somebody else or other people.
hmm. I think when it comes to writing with other people, it helps if someone leads a little bit. Like it helps if someone has like even like a riff or like a bass line or a drum beat, like somewhere to start. That's always like nice. But it's also nice to like have a starting point and then not necessarily put like an ending on it and just see where it goes. I think it's all about like going where it feels really good. And um, when you're writing with yourself, just do it whenever you feel like it. I never like to like force it with like my own kind of creativity. It's just there's days when it feels so good, and I wait for those days.
Do you feel like you filled the role of being the lead in some aspects of collaborative writing, or do you feel like somebody else took that role and you helped develop it in the backseat in a way, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I've done both, and I really enjoy both. Like I love um, kind of what different people bring to the table, and I really like offering what I have to bring to the table. And so yeah, it's all about just like being really open about your ideas, but also not too sensitive about like um, what you're bringing to the table. You know, like you just kind of have to like realize that it might not work. And like if it doesn't work, then it's just gonna like lead to something else. Like no ideas are bad ideas because it usually just if it's not a good idea, it'll lead to something else. It'll like open the door to a new way of thinking about it or something, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever had an idea that you brought to the table and it was just not it didn't pan out, and then did you use that same idea later on and it did work out for something else? If that makes any
Yes,
sense.
all the time, all the time.
Really? I
Yeah.
mean,
I love,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of songs they like some of them have these like longer incubation periods, you know, like I'll go a lot of times you'll when you're recording a record you'll have too many tracks and you'll cut some and so many times one of those songs usually comes with me to the next record. And so it's never like give up on something, but if it's not revealing itself to be what it needs to be in that moment, just give it a rest. Like, it might just need some time to like yeah, like just be in the ether.
Yeah, some breathing room, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, usually when you come back to these ideas, are they taking a different form that you didn't initially expect them to? Does it come out a different way than you thought it would? If you come back
Totally.
to
Yeah.
these ideas? Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of one in particular that I redid recently, and yeah, it grew up in this cool way. It like had the like initial thing that I liked about it, and then I added all of the things that I kind of figured out since then. And so it like yeah, it completed the sentence in a cool way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, why did you leave Feels? What was it? It was I mean, it's a not like a hatred thing or anything. I mean, I know that you guys still admire each other, but what was the departure? What how did that come about?
It was at the end of 2019. I kind of had this like uh gut instinct that I needed to cut all the ties that I had. Like I was just kind of I had all these things that were asking my attention, and it became really clear that I needed to like just kind of like separate myself from all of those things. And it was totally not no animosity at all there. It was just what my gut was telling me. And then when the pandemic hit, it was kind of like this moment of validation of just like, oh shit, like this is why this moment of rest was coming, this moment of kind of like uncertainty, and I needed to like really be with myself and like my own energy to figure out how to proceed in a more conducive way. Because I think even like as fun as Feels was, it was just taking up too much of my time. If you feel yourself being like resentful about a job or a situation, you got to like look at if it's right for you anymore. It's always strange because it's like you're good friends and you do it for so long, or relationships, whatever it is. Like oftentimes we feel the need to stay in those situations because they're comfortable, because we're used to it. But you know you got to be honest with yourself when you keep having those recurring feelings of disease or whatever.
Do you feel for yourself that creativity is spawned through breaking a cycle or breaking out of something that you feel very comfortable with?
Well, I love that. Yeah, I absolutely think so. Yeah, because
Yeah.
even with like a lot of creative things, besides music, it takes that leap of trying it, of just like going outside of your comfort zone and seeing how it feels.
Right. How
Yeah.
how comfortable were you when you started performing solo? I mean, while you were still in Feels, was that a departure from normality for you in its own right? And you're like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like I don't know how to feel about this."
Yeah. Yeah. I always tell the story of the first show. Like I was so nervous, I swore to myself I would never do it again. Like it was just like my entire body was like, no, no, no. But then I when I finished, the response was so warm, and in the end I did have a lot of fun doing it, and was eventually, offered an opportunity to make a record. And so I was just like, all right, doors keep opening. I'm not gonna like ignore the doors opening,
That'd be amazing if you're like, yeah, 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 I have to leave, I have to leave, I have to leave, and then like you get some success. You're like, oh wait, hold on a minute there, hold on. I left. I'm not trying to be successful with this. Okay, I'm just seeing where
Yeah.
it goes. Come back to me, and maybe I'll say
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So I know that you are a part of Segall and the Freedom Band. When did that come about? Did that come while you were still in Fields, or when did you join that brigade?
Yeah. Yeah, I had met Ty. I think we've known each other like 7 or 8 years now, but he was making a new record, and oftentimes with him, he'll have kind of like new instruments or people come in with that vibe, and he had asked me to play in the band, and I was so excited. It was one of the biggest challenges I've ever faced musically, and it felt really cool. I learned, I think, like 6 or 7 of his records, and just like I put my note. I did it, dude. I did it. But yeah, the band's moving on to another record, so I'm not playing with them anymore either. So I'm just exclusively doing my solo stuff. But that was by far one of the funnest things I've ever experienced. Just the energy that he brings to his live shows. It's such a gift. It's incredible.
So you're just cutting ties with everybody, huh? Just burning every bridge you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to, when we're through here, I got some words for you.
No, I know. I'm ready for him. And you know what? I'm gonna say that we're stopped recording, but yeah, it'll be out. Yeah, the people will know who you really are, Shannon.
No, but it's cool. It's like it's nice to listen to my intuition with just like, because a big part of me was really scared to just focus on my own thing. And I think what we want and what we're afraid of are often the same fucking thing. And that's very much what it was. It was just me feeling like the pressure that I was capable of withstanding. I was just like, I can totally do this. And accepting that is like one of the hardest steps.
What made you so nervous about joining the group?
Joining Ty's band.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, I've found that all of us have kind of, RuPaul calls it the inner saboteur. It's just that voice in your head that's telling you that you can't do it, and everything in me was telling me that I couldn't do it, and that I wasn't good enough, and that I didn't belong on stage with musicians of that caliber and stuff like that. But in the end, I think that mindset just keeps you small. And when you get offered something, like I was thinking about this the other day, it's just like, you got the job, like, why are you so nervous? You got the job because of who you are, because of what you have to offer. So fucking bring it to the table, bring it to the runway. Let's go. Like, don't be in the situation and then start questioning yourself, because that's when you're not going to, rise to your full potential, is when you stand in your own way like that. So I was just fully standing in my own way.
That is great words of advice right there. I mean,
Yeah,
that
it really is.
yeah, very, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that you recently did a cover of Blaze Foley's Clay Pigeons with the great
Mm-hmm.
Steve Gunn. What brought on that? Why'd you want to cover that song?
I found it. I think I was just rock and shuffle on Spotify, and it came on, and I was like, oh, this song is sick. And then I decided to look it up and learn it. And whenever I find a song and I learn it, and it comes out really easily as my own kind of voice, I'll usually record it or like add it to my repertoire of stuff I play live or something. And so I learned that one and ended up sending it to Steve, and he added some stuff to it, and it came out so cool. And I was just like, oh man, this actually, like, both of us recorded it in our separate homes. He lives in New York, I'm in LA. And so I had just sent him an email with the song, and he sent it back, and it was so cool to, I appreciate technology so much in that respect. It makes it so easy to reach out and like make something tangible with someone 3,000 miles away. But I like how the version came out. I was so stoked on just the vibe that it acquired.
You are the definition of organic. Everything that has happened is just like, oh, cool. Like, I'll do that. I'll do it. You don't push for anything, but everything happens for you. Must be nice, Shannon. Must be nice. Yeah.
I mean, we all have the power. We all have it in us.
No, that's so awesome. I mean, that's just so insane that if like all these things that have happened just very organically, you're not pushing for anything.
Yeah.
Really.
And I only recently started really recognizing that. So that's, as I move forward, it's going to be interesting to have such an awareness around that aspect. It's made things simultaneously easier and much more challenging, because a lot of kind of, my state in this lifetime while I'm here is waiting and just kind of downtime and resting. And yeah, it's really interesting to get to know like the natural, to recognize when I'm feeling like being creative, or to recognize when I feel like reaching out to someone or saying yes to an opportunity or saying no to an opportunity. Like it's like just listening to what feels good inside, all the answers are in there.
Yeah. When do you feel the most inspired to either write something or kind of pick up an idea that you've previously had and kind of develop it? When do you feel that burst of creativity happen usually? Or if there even is a usual thing for that, or is it just spontaneous?
Yeah, it's kind of spontaneous. I've never noticed a pattern, but it happens really really randomly, and it'll be, someone will say something and it'll kind of spark an idea, and I'll have to write something down, or I'll just wake up one day and just be really in the mood to work on stuff. But yeah, it's super random. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no really constant to it. Just like whenever it happens, like, okay, like I'm gonna sit down and try
Yeah.
to put something to this. Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
usually
totally.
come up with lyrics or a melody or some sort of riff to build off of, or is it again just so everything's something else in that manner?
Yeah, I usually write a lot of lyrics, and then I'll just like be playing and flip through like stuff I've written recently or something like that.
Okay, yeah. I like it. I don't agree with it. Let me just say that real clear, but I respect it.
Okay, I mean, we weren't going to talk politics, but okay.
No, but let's get into it. What was the worst show you ever played, or what was a horrible show that really stands out to you? Like this was just awful.
The
Besides South
year
by Southwest,
the year was 2018, I believe.
I like how you already have a date for this. Just real quick,
Oh, I
you
thought of the
already
show
know.
immediately. I thought of the show immediately because I'll never forget just like the view from the stage and like the state of the. Okay, it was in. I want to say it was in Massachusetts. No, it wasn't in Massachusetts. It was in Minneapolis. Minneapolis. It was somewhere in the United States. I'm gonna say Minneapolis for reference.
Narrowing it down
And
already. Okay.
well, it's one of those clubs. It's like one of those. It was one of those punk bars, and I was on this tour with my friend Justin Sullivan, and we both just play like this.
By the way,
He's
Justin
great.
Sullivan, amazing, has been on the podcast. Justin, if you're listening, you're a tremendous guy. So good, so
He's
nice.
a gem. He's a gem of a human. We did a 2-week tour together around the U.S. that was challenging to say the least. We really kept each other above water because we were just playing to like empty clubs, and it was a rough go. But this club in particular was just like your classic punk club. Like everything inside was painted black, but like still seemed dirty for some reason. The door guy had his house robbed, and so like he was in a state. And like we walk in, and like the bartender is just like this like really grumpy old man that we set up, and the microphone that they have to offer is just this like okay, you know how there's like the checkered kind of grate at the top of a microphone? It was
Yes.
like busted open like the fucking bridge in Evil Dead, and it was just like staring up at you with like this it was gonna eat you. It was gonna fucking eat you. And it smelled like ass, and it was just a rough go. It was a rough night.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are pretty rough. Oh, and one time in Colorado, there was just uh like a really really talkative crowd, and I've learned to get better about this, but in my previous forms, I've gotten really really angry about people talking when I'm playing. I play really quiet music, and it's distracting and disrespectful. But I've learned that they're not doing it to intentionally hurt my feelings. In that case, it was literally a bachelorette party that was like at the bar, just like screaming and taking shots. And I proceeded to tell the audience to go fuck themselves. And I wish I hadn't have done that. I wish I hadn't have done that. I want to take that back.
It felt like a direct attack on me because it was my special day, and that you kind of just ruined it. It was me, by the way. That's what I'm telling you. But and that's why I really wanted to have you on on this podcast is to talk about that.
Tell me
We're
about that
div-
night in
we're
Colorado.
divorced. We're divorced now. He's originally from Denver, so had to go out there.
Well, I
Um,
have a surprise for you. We've got him on the show right here. Devin,
oh,
when is he coming
Devin,
out?
get your ass out here, man. Shannon. I do that to so many people. Whenever they mention somebody, like, oh, I saw such and such last night. It's like, that's so crazy that you mentioned that, because Devin, get out of here, Devin. One time I did that at a coffee shop, and we were talking about a guy, a patron of the coffee shop. Me and my buddy Ralphie, and somebody else is like, oh, I was with Clinton last night. Is that it's so crazy because Clinton, get out of here. And then he just walked up right where I was pointing to. I was like, this is one in a million right here. I was like, I told you, Clinton's gonna come out here.
Wow.
And Clinton, if you're listening, buddy, I love you. I haven't seen you in a while, but great guy. I'm pretty sure he listens, and I hope he does. But I'm not going to tell him that I mentioned him on it. But we'll see if he listens. This is the true test. Every time I've said that on this podcast, nobody's ever said, "Hey, thanks for mentioning me on the podcast," because nobody listens to it.
Yet.
Yeah. But nonetheless,
they're backlogged. New episodes come out all the time.
Every week.
Lots of
Every week. And this has been a great one, Shannon. Can you please let everybody know what they should, where they could buy your music, where they could stream it, and where they could find you? Plug anything that they want to plug.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram. I post on there sometimes.
Shanny Too Dope. Mm-hmm.
Shanny Too Dope, daughter of Shaggy Too Dope. And I have some new music coming out next week, actually. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be on Spotify. It'll be on Apple Music.
All the streaming platforms, right? All of them.
Streaming dealies. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to be playing some shows later this year. And yeah, Bandcamp is a good spot if you want to support me super directly. Buy some merch off of Bandcamp. There's a weird record of demos on there that is pay what you will. If you from back in the day, if you want to start at the beginning,
which everybody should.
Mm-hmm. Always working on new stuff. I'm stoked to see where I go next. Sweet. Because I don't think a lot of us even know what's
exactly
next,
exactly. And people could stay up to date with following you on Instagram. That's the best route to find out what's going on with you, right? And
yes, I post every 6 months, and I will update you on what my cat is doing, where she's laying.
And that's the spot to find all the information.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and I have a website, ShannonLay.com. Oh,
yes.
God, I always forget about that. Go to that. I don't know.
You're paying for the domain, lady. You gotta get your money's worth.
Oh. It's a write-off. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Tax audit coming your way this April. Next April, right? That's tax season, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, because I pay taxes. I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shannon.
Me too.
Yes.
Just kidding.
We're kidding. The IRS. IRS listens to this.
IRS, we're just kidding.
IRS, don't get your ass out here, because we don't want to see you. But you're eventually going to come anyways. Shannon, thank you so fucking much for coming on. This was a pleasure. I'll talk to you in a second, okay? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jacob. Bye.